Hello, hello, hello. It's your host, Kyle LaRoche, doing the most. I'm back with another Minutes to Win It segment here on Radio Tele Normandie. This week we're going to be covering cash flow before investing. I know if you were with us last week, you remember we discussed debt, discipline, and honest math. The hard truth, the hard truth there was that the real cost is more than money, right? Debt destroys tomorrow's choices, your options. So in order to reclaim those options and reclaim your future, we're going to explain how cash flow comes before investing. The way I see it, diving right into the matter, uh, it's important you make sure the water is running before filling up your gallons, your buckets, and your bottles. Where's that source going to come from to fill up other vessels for storage, for the future, for your other needs if it's not going, right? If it's run dry, you're out of luck. So what do I mean in this case? Well, it's that investing is powerful and it comes best and it works best when cash flow is stable. When that cash flow is coming in consistently, that's when you have the full power of investing. I don't like to start with this, but I have to because most people skip it. Here's the truth. You want to invest because you want money to grow. And this makes sense. That's the main promise of investment. But if the flow is choppy or it stops, investing is just a fresh coat of paint over rotting wood. You ever seen those dilapidated houses? They've got the paint on them, but the wood coming up under them, it's peeling, it's splintering, it's cracking. Long story short, it's a distraction. My promise instead, if you listen to today's segment, you'll learn a few things. How to tell if you're ready to invest. Why cash flow comes first, and I'll also share with you what to fix before trying to grow money. So stay tuned. Once again, I'm your host, Kyle LaRoche. This is Radio Tele Normandie. You are now listening to Minutes to Win It. And before we get going, I want you to think about it this way. You wouldn't build a house in the sand at the beach. No disrespect to the folks in North Carolina. Foundations are key to lasting over time. That's my point. And with that, let's get into it. So, I want to highlight something. Cash flow is not just income, it's the movement of money both in and out. What does that mean? Well, you have your money in. Think of your paychecks, any side income, benefits you get, irregular money even. And money out, maybe we're more familiar with, those are your bills. Those are those debt payments. Money out is for food, fast food, or groceries, but it's money for subscriptions, random spending, emergencies. All of those include money out. My dad used to get these checks with letterhead that had in small print, uh, my money talks, or money talks. Mine says goodbye. And it's a bit of a joke, but it's to highlight we're all familiar with money out. But cash flow is the movement of both money in and out. So, if money in is greater than money out, you have room. This is a good thing. And if money in is less than money out, you feel some pressure. Less than ideal. And if it's altogether unpredictable, frankly speaking, you lack stability. No matter where you are on this spectrum, Investing, like surplus and cash flow, that's what cash flow creates. Surplus. So from that point, we move on to, I think, what is a big problem. People want to invest too early. But why? Well, if I had to guess, and I've been there, I speak from some experience, budgeting, well, I'll start with investing. Investing feels like progress, especially when budgeting feels boring. Nobody likes to budget. You say budget, people's eyes glaze over. We're always talking about how the national deficit is so many trillion dollars, but do you think any of those people want to go to a budget meeting, discuss what it's being spent on? So, this leads to the reasons why people rush, right? When you think of investing, they want to feel like they're finally doing something smart. In some cases, it is, but if you're putting the cart before the horse, is it truly smart? If you don't have your cash flow in order to source these investments, your focus is in the wrong place. But I'll keep going. People rush for many reasons, right? They also rush because social media makes investing feel like it's adulthood, right? You're the responsible person when you're investing. Oh, you're not on Kalshi. Oh, you're not on the Nancy Pelosi investment tracker. What are you doing? They associate maturity with investment, and that may be the case, but in a pursuit to reflect that maturity, we're rushing, right? We're approaching in a juvenile manner. And one of the reasons I really think people rush to invest way too soon, they're hoping the returns will solve their cash flow problems. I really feel like that's the key piece. But I want you to consider this instead. The difference is that investing is a multiplier. It cannot multiply money you don't keep, right? Anything times zero is still zero. So just consider this. You don't invest your way out of poor cash flow. You organize your way out first. I'll say that again because I really think it's important. For the people at home listening, you don't invest your way out of a cash flow problem. You organize your way. And I'll go into why. So, what people don't notice in their rush to invest or in their bias to certain things, there's a hidden danger. That danger is investing while your foundation is weak, building castles in the sand. If your money is unstable, invested money often becomes money you have to pull back out. And I'm not pointing any fingers because I have responsibility to shoulder. I did this. I've done this in the past. I was a lot younger, but I thought, okay, having a Fidelity account means a big deal. It means a lot. I've got my money in the right place. I'm doing things, especially when I was socializing with kids at school. They're telling me about this and that they have saved up, what they did over the summer before they graduated. And so having an account was like the bee's knees for me. But again, if you don't have it coming in consistently, securely, you end up having to pull it out. You don't even let your investments compound a month, 2 months before you need it for something. Think, you invest, but your car breaks down. Maybe you buy crypto, but you have to pay your bills. Subscriptions are due. You put money away, but you have to buy something to eat on your credit card. It's a trap, right? It's a trap because you feel smart, you feel responsible for investing, but if you keep borrowing, you keep overdrafting, you keep scrambling, you're not really getting ahead, are you? To sum it up, it's something people don't realize. A full investment account doesn't mean much to an empty checking account. And so you might be asking yourself, okay, cash flow before investing. What's the deal? What's so important? Well, here's what it gives you that investing doesn't, right? That investing can't. Cash flow makes space, it gives you room to breathe. And that means paying bills on time, avoiding panic, reducing late fees and interest. You can handle small emergencies, and then you can make decisions, right? You can make decisions out of strength, not desperation. Maybe you're a content creator, you need something fancy for walking the streets and recording. Cash flow helps with this. Investments aren't going to get you this. I really want to drive home. I mean, you're underwater without an oxygen tank. Cash flow is that oxygen. And from that step, that room to breathe, that's the real wealth. Don't you see that the wealthiest people are often calm about everything? They're in no rush, they're not pressed. It's because other needs are met. They have things working for them while they're not actively engaged. It's that calm. It's stability, right? And it's not flashy. None of those people rock designer or stunt on anybody with gems and jewels. And I'm not saying there's not a place for that. Sure. Things to represent your wealth, accumulate it, display it, that's fine. But coming back, that stability is not flashy, but it is life changing. Before quiet wealth, stability comes first. And when I'm talking about the order of things, the order of operations, I'll tell you what comes before investing, right? I've said it's cash flow, but to get more specific, this is the core. For those taking notes or listening, now's a good time to clue in, lock in. First, know your monthly baseline. That means what must be paid each month, what income is reliable, and what's left after, the essentials. 2. Stop your leaky sinks. I'm talking fees of any kind, subscription slavery. I mean, Netflix, HBO Max, Hulu, Crunchyroll, all of that is content to watch. You're coming up on $50 to $100 just to watch TV. Impulse food spending, unplanned convenience spending. If you're buying the battle pass in these games and then you're going to drop the game for 3 months afterwards, you're pushing off stability, right? You're pushing off investing because your cash flow too much is going out. And you know what? I've been guilty. I'm talking about high interest debit habits, right? So my cash for a long time was going to credit cards with high interest. It was not a good look for me, but I learned my lesson, and that's why I'm preaching now, right? Third, or number 3, build a small buffer. You need it. I mean, even 250, $500, $1,000, it's going to be life changing because it's life saving, right? When you get into some issue with something that needs your money, you know what's going to keep you locked up? Investing. The only thing that would have saved you is some buffer, and the only way you got a buffer is through your cash flow. What's extra after you cover what's essential. But the buffer is imperative. And I mean, the point isn't perfection, okay? If you're staying with me, you realize the point is just safety from intrusions, right? I'm talking about protection from sudden interruptions. You lock that door before debt comes knocking and spoils the night. The next step, number 4, stabilize your debt sitch. Okay? If we're talking about cash flow and investing, you cannot have bills to pay like that. High interest credit cards, like I just mentioned, it just sets money on fire. You're just smoking it. It's a big, big bonfire. Smokey the Bear would tell you to put out. I mean, paying 25% APR while watching meme coins, like some kids, even myself at times, it's backwards. And I've come far enough to be able to recognize it. And so moving on to that 5th step, right? When we're talking about the order of operations, what comes before investing, that 5th step is you need to create positive monthly margin. There's no investing if there's no extra. It's not enough. Long story short. And step 6, number 6 is finally you can begin investing consistently. Now, note that's only after positive monthly margin. I mean, if you don't have extra every month, you are not moving on to step 6. And that's why you need those 4 priors. You know your baseline, you stop the leaks, you build a buffer, and you stabilize the debt. That's when you're going to have the positive monthly extra, and that's what you can invest consistently. That positive monthly extra. So I gave you the blueprint, but I know some of you are so excited about how you can change your life. You see me come on every week. You've tried some of my referrals. You're doing surveys. Like me, you're getting paid for sharing your opinion, and you're excited. But here are some signs that tell me and can tell you that you're not ready, right? You don't know where your money goes each month. That's a big no-no. You still have high interest debt. Another no-no. And for many of you, the key way to tell you're not ready, you're more focused on investment picks, what the picks are, than controlling your spending. And when I say what the picks are, I'm not talking movies. I mean, you're worried about Bitcoin versus Solana. You want to invest in Nvidia while AI is hot. Oil is going up. No, 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 my friend. Do you have a monthly margin? Do you know where the money's going each month? If not, you are not ready, my friend. I mean, if money leaves without a plan, I'll tell you what you need. Control, not complexity. And sure, after I hyped you up and then gave you a reality check, you're disappointed, you're disheartened. But chin up, my friend. Here's how to tell you are ready for investment. Your bills are covered. You've got that emergency buffer prepared. You're ready for whatever's coming for you, right? And you end most months with extra. That's a good sign. And to help you remember, listen, readiness doesn't mean rich. You don't have to be Roddy rich. It means you're stable enough to be consistent. I'm going to say that again too because I think we're not missing we're not missing the point, but it's important to emphasize. Readiness doesn't mean you're already rich. It doesn't mean you have it. It means you're stable enough to stick with it. Okay? When people tell me they're ready to work out, for example, consider that mind frame. Are they good so much so they will still show up Monday through Thursday with rest days in between? When people are talking about cooking, when they're ready, do they have all the ingredients out? Do they have all the tools nearby? Do they have the recipe in front of them? I'm talking about stable enough to be able to stay with the process. You don't need a lot to invest. You need enough stability to keep going. So for me, it's important to share this because it's an emotional roller coaster so far. I tell you what to do, I tell you what not to do, I tell you you're ready, I tell you how to tell you're not ready. But for me, investing is not the first sign of financial maturity. I mean, I picked this up. I was investing a long time, but I never felt like I was secure or even good. But now, with some lessons learned and some paper earned, I can tell you the first sign of financial maturity is consistent cash flow. Like I said in the beginning, budgeting isn't anti wealth. You know, people roll their eyes at the budget, but that isn't the problem. Neither is cleaning up your debt. I know so many people say it over and over again, you feel like it's trite. You say, of course I can't invest. I need cash flow first. But I have debt. So your advice is pointless. Focus on the debt. What about investing? I'll tell you, cleaning up your debt is not falling behind. And neither is a buffer a waste of your time. They're the roots of the tree of sustainable investing. That is what keeps you planted, those things I mentioned. Too many people are just so ready to go, they don't picture the bigger impression. How about this? Cash flow is the engine. Investing is your passenger princess when the car finally runs. You're not going anywhere, nor are you bringing anybody if it's not positive, if it's not running. So, I said so much, you still don't know what to do. I'll make it clear for you. I've got a simple action plan. It involves a couple pieces, so stay tuned. You have three numbers you need to know this week. 1. Your monthly income. 2. Your monthly essentials. Those are expenses. 3. The leftover margin. The difference between the two. I mean, ask yourself. Ask yourself in whatever voice is internal to you and is natural. Do I got enough to leave investments be? However you want to phrase it. Answer that question with your heart of hearts. Then pick up this one habit. Weekly cash flow check-ins. I mean, I've said it in the last shows. The anxiety comes from the unknown. So when you're afraid to check your accounts and your numbers, you are fostering that anxiety. You will only clear it up once you face the music. Check in on your cash flow weekly. Tell yourself what came in, what came out, what changed, and what needs changing. It's got to be done. I mean, progress requires metrics, measurement. You don't know how far you have to go or how far you've come without some record. So I just want to wrap up with a couple thoughts just to bring it all home. I'm not saying investment doesn't matter. Investing, it does matter. I'm with it, but I'm against skipping the foundation. This is how the real G's move, not just in silence. And I'm talking about grands. This is how the real money moves. Cash flow before investing is the horse before the cart. Smart. Don't fight the numbers. The truth hurts, fine, and numbers don't lie, true, but grow them. Don't fight them. And if you took away just one thing today, I hope that you realize the goal isn't just owning the investments. I've owned them. I know people who've owned them, broke people who own them, rich people who own them. So what's the goal? The goal is actually keeping them. Your bills are covered. You have no debt. You don't have to pull anything out before its maturity, before it's even returned you anything. The goal is actually keeping them. So, my friends, that's been a few minutes to win it. I'm Kyle LaRoche, and this has been my show on Radio Tele Normandie. I want to take the time out to invite you to like, comment, subscribe, share this video with someone you think could use the financial literacy. You know anybody who's investing before they have any cash flow? Don't blame them. Send them this. Send them my way. We'll lock in. And I'll see you next time.